The morning after hearing gunshots, two brothers investigate the woods and discover a possessed demon waiting to birth itself and spread to entire towns. Pedro thought driving the problem away would save his family. But he's already brought the contamination home, and it's been hiding inside someone he loves this entire time. Pedro and Jaime wake up to gunshots echoing through the woods near their rural home. The brothers decide to investigate, but what they find is worse than any hunting accident. They discover half a man's body torn apart in the forest. The trail of blood leads them to a dilapidated shack where a terrified woman is hiding with her two sons. But she's not hiding from what's outside. She's hiding what's inside. Her oldest son, Uriel, sits motionless in the corner. He's what they call a rotten, a living host for an unborn demon waiting to be born into the world physically. And the dead man in the woods? He was a cleaner, someone trained to kill the host before the demon spread safely. But he failed. The brothers rushed to the authorities, but the police dismissed the possessed boy as someone else's problem. Pedro and Jaime realize they're on their own, so they approach the landowner Ruiz, hoping he'll know what to do. Instead, Ruiz decides to take matters into his own hands. His plan is simple: drive the rotten hours away and dump him far from their town. Pedro and Jaime reluctantly help, hoping this will end the nightmare. But demons don't follow rules. As they drive, a young boy suddenly appears in the middle of the road. Ruiz swerves violently, and when they check the truck bed, Uriel is gone. Vanished. Ruiz declares the problem solved anyway, and drives back home, refusing to believe the danger isn't over. The next morning, Ruiz's wife discovers one of their goats staggering around the property. Its eyes are wrong, its movements are wrong. The demon has already begun spreading, possessing the animals. She screams at Ruiz not to use a gun because firearms help spread the possession of the rotted. Ruiz shoots the goat anyway. Within minutes, Ruiz's wife grabs an axe from the shed, murders Ruiz with brutal efficiency, then turns the axe on herself. The demon's influence is growing faster than anyone imagined. When Pedro and Jaime discover the murder-suicide the next morning, they make a desperate decision. They need to evacuate everyone they love before the possession spreads further. Jaime goes to get their elderly mother, while Pedro races to his ex-wife Sabrina's house to collect his two sons. But what he finds there changes everything. Pedro arrives to find Sabrina living with her new husband Leonardo and their young daughter Vicky. He immediately strips off his contaminated clothes before entering. Earlier that morning, he came into contact with Uriel's demon-infected body. Anything touched by the rotted can spread the contamination. An argument erupts when Pedro demands to take his sons immediately. Sabrina and Leonardo think he's overreacting, losing his mind. While they're screaming at each other, none of them notice the family dog, the same dog that licked Pedro's demon-contaminated clothes earlier. The possessed dog lunges at their daughter, Vicky, sinking its teeth into her small body and dragging her outside like a rag doll. Leonardo and Pedro chase after the animal as the girl's screams fill the air. Leonardo shoots the dog dead, but when Pedro returns to the house, he sees something that freezes his blood. Vicky has returned home, completely unharmed. But her eyes are empty, and she's speaking in a voice that doesn't belong to a child. She's threatening her own mother, Sabrina, with words that should be impossible for her to know. Pedro realizes with horror that the demon has already claimed her. So he steals their car and runs. As Pedro speeds away with his two sons in the back seat, he glances in the rearview mirror just in time to see Leonardo crash his car into Sabrina at full speed. Their possessed daughter stands in the yard, dancing and laughing as her parents' bodies crumple together in twisted metal. Pedro collects Jaime and their mother, and the assembled family drives for hours until they reach Mirta's home. a former cleaner and Jaime's friend. She agrees to let them stay, but when alone, Mirta pulls Jaime aside with a warning. She's seen the signs before. Pedro's autistic son is showing symptoms of possession. Jaime refuses to believe it. His nephew has always been nonverbal, always struggled to communicate. But Mirta insists the signs are there, hidden beneath the boy's condition. Before they can investigate further, a horrible discovery interrupts them. Sabrina's possessed corpse has crawled all the way to Mirta's house. The reanimated body of Pedro's ex-wife kidnaps her youngest son and drags him into the darkness. Mirta tells Jaime to chase after Sabrina while she and Pedro hunt down Uriel, the original Rotten. If they can find Uriel and properly kill him before the demon births itself, they might still stop this plague. But time is running out. Jaime speeds through the night, following Sabrina's trail. When he finally catches up to her in a clearing, he's too late. Sabrina's possessed corpse turns toward him, and in a moment of pure rage and grief, Jaime guns the accelerator. He runs her over, but his car slams into a tree. Meanwhile, back at Mirta's house, Pedro's mother waits with her oldest grandson. The boy, who hasn't spoken clearly in years, suddenly looks at his grandmother and starts talking. His words are perfectly articulated, his voice confident and strong. He's been possessed this entire time. Pedro and Mirta's search leads them to an abandoned schoolhouse where all the local children have gathered. But these aren't normal children anymore. Every single one of them is possessed, their eyes reflecting the demon's influence. They smile at Pedro and Mirta, speaking in perfect unison, lying with confidence to lead the pair deeper into their trap. Pedro and Mirta find Uriel hidden beneath the stage, in the small auditorium. His body is deteriorating, ready to give birth to the demon at any moment. Mirta frantically sets up her cleaner equipment while Pedro begins the extraction process. Then, one of the possessed children lies to Pedro about a fire axe in the office that could help them. Pedro makes a fatal mistake. He leaves Mirta alone to search for the axe. The moment he's gone, the possessed children swarm Mirta like insects. They trap Pedro in the office, kill Mirta with their bare hands, and systematically dismantle every piece of demon-killing equipment. When Pedro finally breaks free and returns, Mirta's body lies broken on the floor. Enraged and desperate, he grabs a piece of the shattered equipment and beats Uriel to death, pounding his body until there's nothing left but pulp. But he's miscalculated. Killing Uriel doesn't stop the birth, it triggers it. The demon tears itself free from Uriel's corpse, finally birthing into physical form. It stands before Pedro, a nightmarish entity that has orchestrated everything from the beginning. It looks at the defeated man and makes a choice that's somehow worse than death. It spares him. The demon walks out into the morning sunlight, followed by a parade of possessed children like a twisted Pied Piper. Pedro is left alive to witness the full scope of his failure. He stumbles back to Mirta's house separately from Jaime, and they collect Pedro's remaining son. But the nightmare isn't over yet. When they return to their family home, they find Uriel's younger brother waiting for them at the shed. The boy reveals the truth that breaks everything. He confesses that he killed the original cleaner 4 days ago, devouring the man before he could stop any of this. He also killed his own mother the night before, and their mother has suffered the same fate. Pedro refuses to believe his son could be possessed. He takes his son inside and tries to comfort him with ice cream, desperate for one moment of normalcy in this hell. Then his son starts choking. Pedro rushes to help, performing the Heimlich maneuver as his son gags and coughs. Something dark and stringy comes out of the boy's mouth. Pedro's hands shake as he examines it under the light. It's human hair. His mother's hair. Pedro stares at his son and finally sees the truth. The demon has been hiding behind his son's autism this entire time, using Pedro's love and his son's condition as the perfect disguise. His son smiles at him with eyes that have never been human, having tricked his own father from the very beginning. Pedro runs outside and collapses in the dirt, his body racked with sobs. He's lost his ex-wife, both his children, his mother, and countless innocent people. The demon walks free in the world, and Pedro is left alive to carry the weight of every death, every mistake, every moment he could have stopped this. He has nothing left but his brother and the knowledge that evil doesn't lurk in the shadows. Sometimes it lurks inside the people you love most, waiting for you to let your guard down. If you enjoyed this recap of When Evil Lurks, hit that like button and subscribe for more horror breakdowns. Drop a comment below telling me which terrifying film you want me to cover next. And remember, some demons don't need to hide. They just need you to stop believing they're real. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next nightmare.